Oh, you are live on Mix It Up Radio, and of course this is In the Spotlight, and have we got a show for you? We're backing it up from our earlier interview with What's on Your Mind, and we have a great musician. He's live from Canada, and he's been nice enough to join us on this morning. He's got his coffee together, he's got his great hat and sunglasses together. He is, of course, Big Angus. How are you, Big Angus? How things, buddy?
I'm great, my man. How are you, Anthony?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. I'm so rapt to get you on finally. I know we had a mix-up with times on Wednesday, but of course, that was all sorted. We got a chance to even have a chat away from air, and I got to learn about the man behind Big Angus, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it's all good. Just before we get started, man, I just wanted to say thanks for having me on the show, bro. I appreciate it, and thanks to Shifty from the Three Amigos for hooking me up with you.
Well, absolutely awesome to have you on, and yeah, when Shifty showed me your music, I was blown away. I've never seen anything that is what you do, and even a few tracks that are going to be aired for the very first time on radio and to the internet world that will be coming out on the future LP that is about to hit the I guess hit the YouTube stores, Apple stores, Facebook stores, Mixer Radio stores, or anywhere where people can get it, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. No, we're definitely looking to get out that new EP. It'll be called Beat Loops for Breakfast. And trying to look New Year 2012, hopefully January, not February sort of thing, but everything's tentative right now. All the songs have been produced and mastered. It's just a matter of picking the ones that I want. And right now we're deciding if we want to do a paid full double album, like 10 songs and 10 songs, or if we're going to do like a free 6-song EP and just kind of get out there.
Wow, okay, well that's going to be awesome. Is that going to be the first LP? And I was going to ask, how did the concept of the name come together? Is it because you're the kind of person that loves getting up early in the morning and eating breakfast, or is there another theory behind the name?
Yeah, for sure. No, the album name Beat Loops for Breakfast, actually, Beat Loops, it's just a slang kind of for what I'm doing. If you have a sample, like let's say you sample a kick drum over and over and over, 4 bars, dun, 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 that's a loop. Just calling it beat loops is sort of slang. And then for breakfast, my man, is because I'm an early riser, always have been. Doesn't matter how late I stay up, it's a curse. I just get up at 6 in the morning and I start rocking out. I can't help it. So.
What would your neighbors think of you when they're hearing you at 6 a.m. in the morning, and you're mixing the tracks and I guess beating on the on whatever you can find to get the brain ticking over and the music magic happening?
Oh yeah, it gets pretty, like, good thing we're in our own separate house here, but it gets pretty rocking, no doubt. My girlfriend's told me she's pulled up before in her vehicle and she can hear the music in the alley driving up to the house. It'll be like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
That's awesome. You know when you drive past Big Angus's house, there's a party rocking and it's going off because the music is as loud as it can be, and I'm sure it'd be louder that you'd be able to hear it blocks away.
Oh yeah, if I had the gear, I'd be putting on free concerts every day, man.
street parties everywhere. That'd be nuts.
Yeah.
There you go. Shifty's asking any John Denver mixes. I don't know about that.
I should work on some country roads or something, hey?
I'm wondering, with all the different musicians that are out there, is there, other than Smokey Robertson, or is he the one that has given the inspiration to do what you do, being that you've heard of Smokey Robertson since you were a kid?
Yeah, no, honestly, man, like, For me, it all started out music was music obviously that my parents were listening to, like the Smokey Robinsons and your classic rocks, like a lot of AC/DC, Bon Jovi, and stuff like that. And I still love John Bon. But yeah, I know for me personally, I listened to punk rock for a long time as a teenager, kind of ignorant about it. I wasn't open to any new music. And then a friend gave me Sublime, 40 Ounces to Freedom. And that totally changed my world and my opinion of music. I played that CD basically until it wouldn't play anymore in the CD player, got another copy, and it really opened me up to the world of reggae, ska music, acoustic, horns, sampling, looping, just a whole bunch of different things and techniques in music. And from there, it got me excited about different bands, different artists, guys like Mike Watt, who are just absolute geniuses on the bass, super underground guys. But I mean, if you look them up, it's mind-blowing what these guys were doing, especially, you know, in the early 1990s. And from there, you know, the covers that Sublime was doing, they covered Smokey Robinson in a song called STP. So I had to, you know, check out that line. I kept singing to myself over and over. And then I found out it was a Smokey Robinson song and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I heard a cover of Sexual Healing a long time ago when I was a kid, a dance cover. And I never even had any idea that it was a Marvin Gaye song, you know, just because that was my first experience with the lyrics. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And my grandpa's like, "What? This is Marvin Gaye. Who did this? This is terrible." And he showed me the real Marvin Gaye, and I was blown away.
That's true, though. I remember. I think that the upbeat dance version came out. I think it was maybe 90s, if not a little bit later. But you'd play the original, and people would be like, "No, play the dance version." And especially at parties, people would rather dance like, you know, they were on a dance floor and really sort of dance to it than have the original version. So, but I still reckon the original is the best. You can't beat the original with some songs.
No, for sure. I mean, obviously the originals are the originals. They're classics for a reason. They've been remade because they were that good the first time. I like some of those old school singers. Something about like the guys like Smokey Robinson, Etta James, Marvin Gaye, you know, even like Gladys Knight, Midnight Train to Georgia there. Like as soon as those people open their mouth and they start singing just 2 bars, 3 bars, you instantly know who's singing. Aretha Franklin, those old school powerful voices, you know?
Yeah.
Nowadays, kind of in the auto-tuned world or whatever you may have, it's hard to recognize people unless you're super familiar with the beat or you start to get to a hook in a song. You don't even really know who's singing. You know what I mean? That's just, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing by no means. My music's kind of generic as well, but it's just what I like about the old music is everybody definitely had their own unique identity and it was great.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Where musicians of the past, what they sung on a record or a CD or on a radio, that if you went and saw them live, they were exactly the same. Whereas nowadays, some musicians, whatever you hear on a CD or airplayed anywhere, it's not even close to being the same. If you went and saw them in concert, I'd like to know your opinion about what are your thoughts about people who believe in doing something that has been done, say, in the 80s or 90s with different songs and reproducing them in today's music industry. Do you think it's a good thing, or do you think it's already been done that many times? Why do we have to then come back and do it again, all over again? Unless you're adding your own thing to it or doing something with the song or with the music, do you think that too many musicians are just simply, you know, run out of ideas on what songs to sing, that they basically, I don't know, pay the rights to an old song and just sing it, and that's the end of it. Make it their own, even though it's not theirs.
Absolutely, and no. It's a tough one to answer, man. Like, there are a lot of bands that you see make it. Like, there was a band from Canada called Out of Your Mouth a few years ago. They did a cover of Madonna's Music, a rock cover, and that was the only thing they ever did. I'm not knocking the band. It was a great song, but you could definitely tell that was their step to get big, and it didn't really work out for them. Now, let's say when the Rolling Stones back in the 70s or 80s or whatever it was covered Going to a Go-Go of Smokey Robinson, were they trashing music? Were they being repetitive? I think it depends on the song. Like if people like wanted to recover the Safety Dance 1,000 times from the 80s, I'd blow my brains out. But if they're picking gems and great tracks, and stuff like that, maybe some, as long as it's not like a played out Joni Mitchell track, I'm all for it.
Is there, with the album that's coming out, is there one song, one or two songs on there that you're definitely like they are the ones that I love the most, and they're the ones that I'm definitely going to be trying to push out there to the world?
Yeah. Never Felt Better Part 1. Like, not only do I feel like it's fairly, listener friendly, but I actually truly enjoy that song. That was one of those songs while I was making it and sampling it, it was getting me moving in my own chair, I probably listened to it 100 times while I made it. I can always tell a song is good or it stays close to me if by the time I'm done mastering it and producing it, I still like it. After listening to it 100 times over and over, the same phrase or the same 4 bars or whatever the case may be, the same kick, just dun, 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 over and over and over, you get pretty sick of a song. But this song I just never got sick of, so I'm really going to try and push it as the main single. And also Try It Again. That song was a pain in the ass to make.
Of course, that's the next song that we are going to get up. But yeah, well, I mean, One More Time, people are loving it because it is getting votes. So and it's amazing just from those who have been tuning in tonight. Obviously, with those in Canada and America and even locally in Australia, that people obviously enjoy One More Time, and I reckon it's going to be higher on the charts come next week.
That's awesome to hear, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for putting me on there, and thanks to everyone who votes. Rock on. Keep listening.
And we are back live here on Mix It Up Radio, and of course we're in the spotlight with Big Angus. Dude, I don't understand it. I'm sort of scratching my head, and I mean, I've only heard Try It Again a few times, but up against One More Time, that song is nuts.
Oh, thanks.
Try It Again is that is crazy.
I really appreciate that, dude. You know what? Honestly, I thought that song is going to be a guilty pleasure that only I would like, and I was just going to put it out anyway.
No way. I must admit, it must have taken ages to get that all right. I love your music, and I'm gonna have to say that I reckon you're going to rip up Mix It Up Radio's top 10 next week, because if it continues, there's going to be a new number 1, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get something fresh up there.
Exactly, and that's what you want from your top 10. But we're definitely going to have to get you back on when your album comes out, or even in the next few weeks, and find out how everything's going, and how the music world is taking off in an insane way for Big Angus.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to, my man. I appreciate you having me again, and Shifty for hooking me up. Beth for checking it out. It was great.
That's what we want. Let's leave it there for another In the Spotlight night. We're going to get Thin Lizzy to take us out on the end of the show. The podcast will be up very soon, and people will be able to download it. It is, of course, going to be in the Spotlight folder on our podcast page. You've been on the air with within the Spotlight, myself, Anthony, and of course our great guest for the night, spotlighting Big Angus. You've heard his mashing music, his mix of mixes, and the guy's got talent. He's going forward. He's going to take the world by storm, and you're going to be hearing more of his music here on Mix It Up Radio.